Welcome to our podcast, Learn Biblical Greek, brought to you by Dr. William Stewart, the co-founder of Teleios. This captivating podcast teaches you biblical Greek through a verse-by-verse study of the book of Ephesians, interjecting Greek grammar, Greek word meanings, and vital theology concepts. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey. Your study will be more effective if you use the Greek text with the Bible word codes, either on the eSword download or Bible Hub website. These links are on our podcast website at www.teliosresearch.com.
Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our podcast on learning biblical Greek. This is the podcast where you can learn biblical Greek and while doing it all in Scripture so you can see its benefit right away. The grammar, the words and their history, the culture, and we're going through a great book, Ephesians, telling us so much about Christ, our salvation, and the Christian walk. We are in a historical section now, leading up, to talk about a key theological concept. We're in the middle of verse 11, chapter 2, so get your grammar out and your Greek text with the codes for the nouns and the verbs, parsing and declensions. Let's get going. First word here in the middle of verse 11 is upo. This is a preposition seen not infrequently. Literally means under. It takes the genitive or the accusative in the noun that follows. In this case, it's the genitive. And in the abstract meaning, it means by means of, instrumental case, or by a cause, causative. So remember these prepositions, so common, yet in the epistles from Romans to Revelation 3, they often take an abstract meaning. So we're not dealing with narratives and stories and historical events. Okay, sotis, so this is a short word, which often is an article, particularly if it starts with a T, a relative pronoun. If it doesn't, that eta S indicates the genitive feminine singular case, and then you can see that it matches the next word. So that next word is a participle, so common in Greek. Let's break it down. So there's no prefix starting from the beginning. There's no augment, as you would not have with the participle, except in the perfect. Leg is the root word, lego, to speak. O is the connector between that root and the ending specifiers. MEN tells you it is a passive or middle voice and not active. Okay, so passive meaning something is being worked on. Okay, I am hit, somebody hit you, you're passive. The middle, remember, is unique to Greek, meaning reflexive or becoming more common in the time of Christ. Something about yourself and internal to yourself. So speaking in regards to himself, the eta S ending, of course, again, is the feminine singular genitive. Okay, so on account of those calling, or by the cause of those calling, peritomis, circumcision. Again, the eta S, telling you that it is the feminine genitive singular. And there's that common preposition, most common preposition, always translated in, but more flexible in meaning, means in or by, on, instrumental, by means, and it takes the dative. Sarki, that I, tells you it's in the dative, singular, is attached to the K, so the root word ends in a K, so there's no contraction with the vowel that typically ends a root in the Greek. It tells you it's third declension. Kairo P2, made of hands. So OU, of course, is the genitive singular masculine. So what do we have here? So the what we did today, by that, okay, by those, by that being called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. The whole verse, wherefore remember that ye being in past time Gentiles in the flesh. So there's still Gentiles. Most of the people in Ephesus are Gentiles, but he's referring to their state as being outside the commonwealth of Israel, the barbarians, who were called uncircumcision, otherwise didn't have the sign of the covenant that the Jews had, which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hand. So the Jews, with circumcision being handmade, called them the uncircumcision. So the Gentiles were in were considered lower life forms in a sense by the Jews, and they were in a position outside of Israel, which in terms of knowing God was a disadvantage back in the Old Testament times. Okay. Hope that was helpful. We'll continue with verse 12 next time. Again, still talking about the Jews and Gentiles and the differences, and then we'll move to bring them together under Christ and make them one with Christ in this great passage. I'll look forward to seeing you then. Goodbye for now.